Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how to modify the Pluto SDR for use with the QO100 amateur radio satellite. I'm going to put a new TCXO inside it, and we're also gonna do the ground mod so the Pluto is a little bit more stable. I'm using the Pluto because in my opinion it's the easiest and cheapest way to get started on QO100. The unit itself costs about 130 to 150 euros. There are also Plutos sold on eBay which are far more expensive. I would not recommend to use one of them. Inside the box there is the Pluto SDR itself, a jumper antenna cable, a USB cable, two antennas, and as far as I see it, this is a OTG adapter, so you can put USB devices into the Pluto. The Pluto itself has two SMA connectors, one for TX and one for RX, and two USB connectors. One connector is mainly to apply current to the unit, to power the unit, and the second one is to connect it directly to the PC or to connect a network dongle, an Ethernet dongle, and work with the Pluto over the Ethernet. The Pluto itself contains also a small PC. That means there is Linux running on it. You can log into the Pluto via SSH and you can control and activate different settings over SSH. The first thing we're going to do is to disassemble it so we get to the PCB. Therefore we're going to use a normal screwdriver and open these two screws here and here. There are far more better videos out there on how to modify your Pluto. I recommend you're going to watch these videos. I'm just doing this here so that everything is on one place. The next thing we're going to do is unscrew these four screws. These are holding the PCB inside. I put everything into the lid so that no part is going to be lost. Now we have the PCB out, and now the only thing we need to do is to unscrew these two nuts here so that we can get the plastic lid out. I'm going to use a plier here. The correct way to do is using a wrench, but I don't have one here at the moment. There are two washers on the plate here. We're going to put these out, and now we have the bare PCB here. There are different ways to mod the Pluto. I've modded one with an external GPS input from a GPS DO. I messed up pretty badly, but a friendly ham from Germany helped me fix it. You can put all kinds of oscillators in there. The normal frequency of the Pluto is 40 megahertz. Here's the TCXO that is built inside, and we are going to change this one with a far more accurate one. The one we are going to use today has a stability of 0.5 ppm, and yeah, we're going to do this. First thing we have to do is desolder this TCXO. The next thing is we're going to solder the new one in, and then we're making the ground mod. There are different ways to desolder the TCXO here. I'm going to use a hot air reflow station, but you can also use a normal soldering iron. This also works quite well. The first thing I'm going to do here is to use some Kapton tape and stick it around the part we want to desolder. This helps us so that we don't damage any other parts here. There are a lot of small footprint components around here, and with the hot air gun it's dangerous that we heat them up and blow them away. Kapton tape is basically a very thin tape that is very temperature robust. The standard temperature Kapton can take for a longer time is 230 degrees Celsius, and if you in the short term temperature it can take is up to 400 degrees, so this will be good enough for us today. Be aware that the part, the TCXO that we are going to desolder today, is very small. You want to use some tweezers to grab it, and you may also want a magnifying glass or microscope to see what you're actually doing. I'm going to heat up the hot air station now, and when everything is hot we are going to desolder this. Therefore we put the Pluto onto a PCB holder. I've made these PCB holders myself out of stainless steel, but you can also buy these glass holders that are used to hold glass plates. They do the same trick here. Okay, the soldering station is hot now, and we're going to desolder the original TCXO. Okay, this was basically it. The old TCXO got desoldered. we are going to put this one on the side, where maybe we need it someday. The next thing we are going to do is to clean up the pads where the old TCXO was mounted. Therefore I'm going to use a bit of solder wick and my normal soldering iron. We're going to clean all 4 pads. Now we can mount the new TCXO. It's very tiny. I'm going to check the orientation first. I'm here in the down right corner is the number 1 pin, and as far as I can remember, the number 1 pin and the number 2 pin, which is the upper right in my case here, are the ground pins. The left upper pin is the signal out pin, and the lower left pin is the voltage pin. So as I have it here, this is okay. I'm going to apply some solder paste now and some flux, and then we will solder the new TCXO onto the board. You can take your tweezers and put it in place. The footprint of the new TCXO is a little bit smaller than the old one. As far as I see it, this shouldn't be a problem, because the soldering paste, when it's liquid, will force the pin, the TCXO into the right position. I'm going to warm up the hot air station again, and then we are going to solder it in. We're going to let this cool down a bit, and after that we are going to do the ground mod. Okay, now that we have soldered in the TCXO, we're going to do the so-called ground mod, which is basically just a wire from the ground connection here to the housings of the USB connectors here and here. For that I'm going to use normal solid core wire. I use a cutter here to scrape down the insulation of the wire for a few millimeters. Then I'm going to use the soldering iron and apply some solder on the ground pin here. Just waiting to heat it up. When this is done, we can solder in the wire. This connection is soldered now. We are going to route the wire to the two USB ports. I'm going to cut it here, and then we have to scrape the insulation down on the end of the wire. And in the middle of the wire, after this bend here, now I'm going to apply some solder on the housings. This might take a little bit longer because they have to heat up, and the housings are quite a high thermal mass. That's going better than I thought it would. Now make sure that the side where the part where you scraped down the insulation is on the housing, and solder it on. I have to reroute the wire here a bit so it doesn't get in contact with any other parts. Normally this shouldn't be a problem because the wire is insulated, but we don't want to provocate something here. I have cut the wire down again a bit to fit it in here, and now I'm going to solder the second wire. Okay, we should have a good connection now. We will let this cool down, and then we are going to assemble it again. Now that everything is done, we're going to pull off the Kapton tape. Make sure that no actual parts are on this tape, and now we are going to assemble the Pluto again. Anything, so I'm going to connect the Pluto to the PC and check if it works. Okay, now that we have soldered in the new TCXO, we are going to set up the Pluto and going to test it. When you plug in the Pluto via USB, it appears as a storage device and also as an Ethernet device. It has an IP address, so we can connect to the Pluto using SSH, which I'm using the PuTTY client for this.
it is possible that the Pluto won't get enough power over the normal USB interface port, so you maybe want to hook an external power supply to it over the second power port. The antennas I've mounted are the normal stock antennas it came with. I'm just making a receive test, so these antennas are good enough. The Pluto is connected via USB, and I'm going to type in the IP address into the client we are using. In my case, the IP address is 192.168.2.1. This should be the normal IP address. You get a login prompt. The login credentials are the username root and the password is analog. You get greeted with this display. The next thing I'm going to do is to widen the Pluto's frequency. Normally the Pluto is able to work from a frequency of 350 megahertz to about 3800, I guess, and we can type in some comments here that changes the attributes of a part inside to another part, and therefore it's going to be able to receive between 70 and 4000 something megahertz. First we're going to check a few things. The command therefore is fw underscore print env space attr underscore name. We get an error message. This is wanted. The next comment we are typing in is the same, but instead of name at the end we put in val at the end. This error message is also wanted. Now we are going to change the configuration. Therefore we type in again fw underscore set env attr underscore name with compatible. This was accepted, and then we're going to write the comment fw set env attribute val with the attribution. No, we're going to type in fw set env attr underscore val, and then we are typing quote AD9364 quote. This was also successful, and now we're going to reset the Pluto. This is done with the command Pluto underscore reboot space reset. You can see that the network connection is lost here because the Pluto reset itself. You also heard that it's back online. And now we're going to start the SDR console. That's the SDR software I'm going to use here. I've used this software for another Pluto, but I've reset it previously so we can at least put in the correct receive frequency. First we have to define our Pluto, therefore we go onto the definitions part here. We're going to add a new Pluto SDR. The IP address gets in automatically, because as I said, the Pluto itself makes a USB, an Ethernet interface over USB. We're going to save that, and here we're going to click on the Pluto we are wanting to use, and then we go to start. I'm going to turn down the volume a bit. Here with this slider you can put the gain down a bit, and now we're going to check for some signal. Okay, here we found a signal, for example. It's a radio signal, a very strange radio signal. This is a little bit weird. And let's search another one. Steady on down the line, lose every sense of time. Take it all in and wake up that small part of me. Day to day I'm blind. You can see here the transmitter is overpowering the Pluto quite a lot. This is a bit of an issue, but this is only going to be for testing here.
Meine Kleider wird mir in einem Kleidchen, das ich selbst für sie gekauft habe, überall hinfolgen.
Okay.
Von allein ist es nicht gegangen.
Verstehe.
Ich habe auch verstehen müssen und Mut haben.
The Pluto works nice with the new oscillator, and yeah, we're finished for today. The next thing I will do is show you a basic setup for QO100 with the Pluto as a receiver and as a transmitter. I'd like to thank you for your time and your patience to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.